Well, better late than never, right? Welcome back, guys. I finally watched Call of Chucky, and I know I'm super late, so you guys probably already know where to find it, like on demand or Netflix like I did. And this movie is basically a continuation of The Curse of Chucky, and I think this is like the 6th installment or so. I can't keep track of them, but the last time I watched a Chucky movie that I can remember that I liked was the first one, the second one, and then I believe it was The Bride of Chucky. And well, this movie is pretty simple to me. Like, the movie is basically about Nika, who gets put into like this insane asylum, and then somehow good guy dolls start showing up to the insane asylum, and Chucky, I guess, is sending them to like try terrorize her and take over her body, and basically kills people along the way. Pretty simple. Now, I would say the movie has some pretty cool cameos from like previous movies, like Jennifer Tilly and like The Bride and all that stuff, like a bunch of random like cameos, I would say, and it's really fun watching them on screen. But one of the best things about this movie that I would say is that the gore on this movie was on point, and that's probably the biggest thing I can give this movie, because that's what I really enjoyed about the film. Like, I enjoyed how effective it was. I like how practical a lot of the stuff was, and actually liked Chucky in this movie. Like, Chucky was amazing in this film, and he was really funny because of his laugh. Like, there is one scene in particular where they're like killing this guy, and there's like 3 Chuckies, and they're all like having a blast doing it. Like, it's hilarious watching these 3 Chuckies just going at it with this one guy. I feel bad for the guy, but seeing 3 Chuckies drilling into this poor guy while he's bleeding out is pretty hilarious. Brad Dourif as Chucky's voice is still doing it for me. Like, he's really hilarious, and I like that iconic laugh is still put into the film. Like, that's what I really remember from Chucky as a kid. Nika as well in the movie was pretty great. I really liked her for her role, and also the way that she was portrayed in the film. And even at one point she has her own Chucky laugh, which was pretty well done actually, and I thought it was very like believable and up to par with like Chucky's voice. But let's talk about some of the stuff that I actually did have some issues with the film, because a lot of the stuff that I liked was mainly the gore and some of the acting. But what I didn't like mainly was the fact on how the script and how the plot developed, because I feel like I've seen this so many times in Chucky movies before. We have like the whole formulaic, like, you know, a doll's trying to kill me, and of course nobody believes them. They'll talk about it a little bit more until something happens to them, then they'll start believing them. But the fact that we're stuck in an insane asylum makes it a little bit more boring for me, because a lot of the time we'll go back and forth between the insane asylum where Chucky is being held, which is a few scenes, but the time that we are in the insane asylum, you know, they're like having all these conversations with different characters. Like, you know, some of them like believe that one of the dolls is the baby, another person has like a lot of like personalities, and it's pretty cool at points, but at the same time that really slows down the movie for me itself, because it's a lot of dialogue, and for most of the part I really didn't care for it. But one thing about the movie was the way that they named the cult of Chucky, because I know like the real person of Chucky uses the ritual to transfer his soul or whatever into this doll, but I didn't really understand how other dolls could do the same thing and like recreate a new Chucky, unless it's a different ritual from the original movie. So maybe I'm missing something that you guys want to clarify for me down in the comments. But at the same time, that really didn't make a whole lot of sense, because the original Chucky was literally a head on a spike, and I'm not sure how he was like sending out commands to these other Chuckies to do what they were supposed to do, which in a way was interesting to me. Another cool thing, but a weird thing about the movie, is Alex Vincent. They decided to keep the actual Andy from the very first Child's Play movie, and I freaking love that. But then he started acting, and I was like, okay, he might need to take some classes again, because I really didn't find him all that interesting. He was kind of like dull for me in a lot of the scenes that he was in, but other than that, he's not in the movie a whole lot. Another thing about the movie itself that I liked was how they used the white colors, because we're in insane asylum, everything is like white, and there's like snow around. So I like how the director and cinematography was used here, because it uses it perfectly, especially with the bloody scenes. You know, it really like sticks out whenever like somebody starts bleeding or dying. So I really like how they used the color white in this film. But aside from that, guys, those are my overall thoughts about this movie. You know, I really didn't go in there expecting a whole lot. I mean, by this point you kind of know what kind of movie a Chucky movie is gonna be. Found it more interesting than anything. I did like the gore, like I said. I liked some of the stuff that they did with like the multiple Chuckies, but then again, you know, it did bore me a couple of times here and there, because, you know, there was a lot of dialogue and not a whole lot of action for me. And at the same time, the whole ritual thing, and you know how they were deciding on how Chuckies were transferring or multiplying from one to another doll was kind of confusing to me, unless I missed something in the previous movie. So that might just be on me. So if you guys want to clarify that in the comments, please do so. But with that said, guys, I'm going to give this one a 2.6 out of 5. But definitely, if you guys are a big fan of Chucky movies or like the Child Play movies from back then I would definitely suggest checking this one out. It's pretty good. You know, a lot of the people that are fans about this movie really digged it. A lot of them really enjoyed it. And then I've seen the other side too, where people really hated this movie and just thought it was really boring and it was unnecessary necessary to make another Chucky movie. So with that said, guys, what is your favorite Chucky film? You know, which one was your favorite? To me, number 1 and 2 will always be my favorite, and then maybe The Bride of Chucky, because I think, I don't know, something about that movie just stuck out to me, and it was just pretty bizarre and crazy. So guys, if you guys are new to my channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell so you can be notified of my next review. Also, if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and share it with some of your friends. But as always, guys, stay tuned.